Hi, Ann Cornick for Paint and Porcelain Exchange. And tonight, we're going to be finishing our gourd tea tile that we did, or plate, or whatever you did it on. Now, this is mine. And the outside of this, I did in an orange. It's a little bright on the first time after I fired it, so I put a brown over it, and I really like it now that it has the brown over it. So you may finish this and then find that you need a third fire just to maybe tone down or bump up the colors. You need to decide how you're going to do. Colors for this time are going to be similar to what we used last time, but this was the yellow I used, and it didn't fire the way I liked it to, so I'm going with a darker yellow, which could be a light yellow brown if you wanted to use a light yellow brown. This is moss, this is dark green. This is my orange, which is Southwest orange. This is golden ochre. Now, golden ochre is, I don't know, can you see that color? The colors aren't that true on there, but you get the idea. It's a kind of a lighter pumpkin-y color. And then I have auburn, which I'm going to use for the background a little bit because I want a warmer background with these warm colors in the front. And then I have a brown. It can be any brown. It can be this brown, which is Rembrandt, which I'm trying because, you know, I try a new color every week, and that's the color of the week this week is Rembrandt. I also have some lines, and I don't know if you can see them. I think you can, a little bit, pencil lines here. These are corrections I want to make on the second coat. It's important if you find that there are things you need to correct on the second coat, that you make a note of that so that as you're painting, you can find them. And then here I wanted to put in the ground, you know, here, and then the sky sort of would be there, or the room that it's in. So, okay, I'm going to start very simply with, let's see, I think I'm going to start with the background. I'm going to start with my auburn. Alrighty. I'm just plopping my background on. I'm not doing anything too fancy. This is like a wall in a room or something, and I kind of want it to be this color. You can use any color you want. You can make it green, although I think that defeats the purpose. I wanted something that was going to show up nicely against this green, and so that's the reason I picked this color right now. So, okay, and then over here, I'm going to do the same thing. Alrighty, come on down. Oh. Need a little more paint there. There we go. That's better. A little more paint up in here. And I have one oil that works and makes my paint a little darker, and one oil that doesn't. So I want it a little darker around the top. I know that sounds a little odd, but I'm going to be using a real dark color on the rim, and so having it go up into a little bit of a darker color near the top is probably going to help it a lot. So now I'm just doing my last coat going around, kind of smoothing things out. I'm going to clean off where I got the color on here. I have a little bit of, I cleaned it with turpentine, and I have a little bit of oil on my brush, and I'm just going through, see how that helps just to clean up some of the areas where I got that color on the fruit, and we don't want it, or the gourds. Okay, now with this, I'm going to do something really simple. I tried a million different ways to get this to look right when I was doing my first one, and I found the easiest way was simply to wash the whole thing with a yellow or this color. So this color yellow that I have is called Sunflower. This is one that, what's her name, carries, Paula White. It's kind of like an ochre. So I'm washing this side with the yellow, and I'm just going to put a little bit of this other color on this side. And that's it. Now I know it's covered up some of the dark green here, and we don't want that, but I'm going to paint over the green again, so it's really not going to matter. So now I'm cleaning my brush, And I might as well put the brown in while we're down here too. So let me take, and I'm just going to take a brown. It can be, like I said, any brown you want. And we're just going to put a little bit of floor there so that it looks like it's sitting on something other than just, in fact, this area here can be pretty dark. I'm doing a stroke I have never heard of. It's almost like a chatter stroke. I'm just going like this, see? I'm shaking up and down and just pulling it across. I think it makes it look more like wood if I do that. I don't know. There. Okay. I'm going to clean my 1/2 inch off really well. Now I'm taking my pointer. I'm going to use my pointer, use my dark green, and I'm going to start up at the top, and I'm just going to kind of reinforce the dark green that's up there. Because like I said before, you have to remember, there's not really any highlights per se on this. So the best you can hope for are the highs and the lows that you create. So I'm going back over this to make the highs and the lows. Now, this is the gourd. And you can see some of these little, wherever there's a little bubble, that's where I'm putting a little bit of dark. And I'm using the green because on the section that I'm using, which is right here, it's predominantly green underneath. So that's why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. So I'm going around them, filling them in. And then I'm taking my other brush, which is this little number 4 thing. It's rounded. And I'm just going to put a little bit of, I don't know, probably an ochre or a yellow on there. And just touch some of these so they get a little bit of shading at the bottom. And then I might do a little bit with the darker green here. You can give it a little texture by just, see, putting a couple of dots there and what have you. And I'm going back into my darker green. And I'm just continuing on. And there's not much to it. So if you've been concerned about having something that you've got painted for the holiday that's coming up here in the States, which is the Thanksgiving and Halloween and all that, and you're going to someone's house and you want to take a gift with you, this would be something you could paint up very easily that you could take. Now right here I have like a lump, and I don't want that, so I'm breaking it down with my pointer, my little pointer here that I have, making sure that the paint is not lumpy there. Okay, we'll come around here and down here. You can even use the pointer. Sometimes it works better anyway. And down here. So I'm not doing anything. I'm basically just going over everything one last time to really get the color in there and make it look dark the way I want it to, and really make it pop. I hate it when they say that on those shows, but it is true. You almost have to stand up on the very tip of this to get it working right. And here I want something to delineate that, so I'm doing a little green back there. And then I'm going to take some of the green that I have, the moss green, and I'm just going to put it on here. That's a little heavy there. Let me get it off of there. Okay, and we'll put a little here and a little here. And if you've already got the green there, and you just put a little moss green on, it will pull that darker green right onto your piece. And then we're going to do a couple of those mottled sections where we have the dark green, and we're holding this on its tip. That's these sections. Let me see if I can show you one that's a really good one you could see. Right here, see how those are like they've got like little pieces of green kind of running through them. That's what we're going to do down here and through here. I'm going to mix it in with the moss green and I try to make them kind of rounded. There we go. And I think I actually want to kind of round this up a little bit here. There, I think that looks a little better. All right, now we're on to this guy down here. So there's not much to it. There's not much to it at all. If you can paint it the first time, you can certainly paint it the second time. Okay, that's what we have so far. Now I'm going to start on this guy over here, who was the guy we did the last time. And I'm just darkening his color. Oops, that was my liner. It was my, my liner. And I need something more like this little guy so that I have a little more substance on there. Because otherwise, and my light is very low here, but I can see that I'm leaving little lumps on here, and I'm going to have to look at it at the very end. See, that's almost dark enough, so that's not a problem. And then here, and here. This is the one we're doing now. And he's pretty dark. He's started to turn yellow because he's starting to go. He was completely dark when I got him, so that gives you an indicator of what these are like as they get older. Now here, I might just do one side of that and one side of this. Oops, I need more oil. Because it kind of gives it kind of a shaded tone, which I kind of like. But then right here, I do want it to be dark, and on top I want it to be dark. I don't know, I have to turn it towards me to see if I like that shaded tone. Maybe a little more like that. There we go. And on the base of it, it has a little bit of golden ochre right here, right here. And I'm going to take my liner and start reinforcing these. Oh no, not my liner. I'm going to use my micro brush. Where's my micro brush? That's this little baby. He's so little. He's like 2 hairs put together. But he's very handy for this kind of work. So I'm going to take him up here, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to stand on my head, practically stand on his head, right up at the top, and just sort of add some of the color back. And I don't want to add too much, so I'm really trying to lay it down slowly and carefully. You see the difference in that? And then we're going to do the same thing right here. Almost standing on my head, see? Just straight up and down. Okay. And there's one right there. Okay. And if you see on him, see right here, you can see that all these little lines and everything. Now, if we want to make them a little more scraggly, oops, go and attach a couple of them if you want to, just to make them a little more scraggly on the big one there. And then at the base, I'm going to do this and this and this and this, because it flips up on the edge. And then I'm coming down and doing these guys around the back. This is the feet. And I'm going right over that brown I put there. Then I'm going to take some of my yellow, my real yellowy yellow, since it is turning yellow down here now, and I'm just going to put the yellow in here. And up at the top, it's turning a little yellow, so I can put a little yellow up in there. Okay, I'm back to my liner, just making the jags on this and making it more obvious. Coming down here, jagging, jagging, and then I'm filling in the center. You want these to be real fine, the lines in between here. And up in here that separate all this. And here there should be a line right there. And then coming down here, and coming down this side. Now I can use my bigger brush. Go back to my liner. And, oh, she's got a big glob on there. And just do this end here. Okay. Now, I'm not crazy. If you look at this guy down here, I'm not crazy about the color I picked, even though it is a bright orange like that. Okay, now I'm going with a real light yellow, because that's what I used up here, and that's what I want to go back to. This is the lemon yellow that I used last week, and the only reason I'm going back to it is because some of these got muddled. They kind of got lost in the drawing over it, got lost in the yellow, and so I'm trying to rectify that by going through and redoing it, but this time doing it with my super micro little brush here. And again, I've got it right on the end here. I'm right on my tip. See how much better that shows up? I don't know if you can tell or not, but I think you can. Yeah, you can. And over here especially, it just really didn't show up the way it was. It's still not showing up. Hang on, let me get right up there on my tip. Got to get on the tip of the brush to get the color to... There we go. And I'll do a little here. Some of it's okay, some of it's not. Need a little more down here. And I'm getting my number 10 out now because I'm going to be doing the body of this. And then we'll put some brown on the bottom. I'm just going to put a little bit of... I want to straighten that out there. I don't think I need any more orange on the orange. And I'm looking at this, and it does have a little bit of a... I'm looking at the gourd, and it does have a little bit of a shadow underneath, right? Oh, here, wait, let me get it here. See right here? When I hold it this way, there is a shadow there. So I'm going to be putting the brown down below. Oops. So let's put the brown down there. I kind of got into it up on top too, so we'll fix that. Here's the brown. We'll put the brown over here. And the brown over here. And let's put the brown underneath too. We'll come along the side here. Can't do it with that brush. And come along the side here. And I'm going to come along the side here. This is whatever it's resting on. And I want to make it a little thinner here. That's better. And I want to make it a little thinner right here. And then I'm going to just take my finger and, well, that didn't work. Sometimes you think you can do things you can't. Let me get, I'm using the Q-tip now. It'll do a better job than my finger did, getting the color off here. There we go. Now, around the edges, I'll show you what I did last time. I'm not going to necessarily do the same thing this time, I don't think. But I did a bright orange like this. Really bright orange. I mean, I really hit it with a bright orange like this. Very solid. And I thought I would like it, but it looked terrible. So then I hit it with a brown over it. And I think that looked a little better. So you could do that. You could just do a brown around it. The straight brown would look like this up here. Yeah, I think I kind of like the brown. And the only other color, of course, that you could maybe use if you wanted to, I think it'd be too much to use a green, but the gold, no, I don't know. Would I use a gold? No, probably not, unless I just went right over like this and just used it. And then it would be a little too washed out. Okay, so this is what we have so far. I'm going to keep playing with it and just finish it up. I think it's pretty well done. And the idea is to probably get it to come out like this one did. And I really like this one. I think this one, you know, the first one, I just spend a lot more time on, I think, and I'm able to do it, you know, in peace and quiet. I'm not trying to talk and trying to do it in low light situation. So I hope you have a good weekend. Everybody pick up those brushes, keep painting. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed the program, and I hope you'll take a minute to subscribe so that other people can learn more about China painting and we can get the word out to more people. You also can look at the links below. My Paintnporcelain.com website has a lot of freebies and printables for new and experienced painters, as well as studies, supplies, and even some of my hand-painted china. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time.